The following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network. This is the Cougar Football Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
We're committed to being great here. I'm proud to represent Washington State. I know the people that wear that Cougs all across this country, they're proud to be a part of Washington State. Why not be here? Why not cheer on this team? Why not see this environment and make it something special? What an opportunity to show who we are as Cougs.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zappos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now, live from Zappos, alongside Cougar head coach Jake Dickert, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Welcome into Zappos here on a Thursday night. Another edition of the Cougar Football Hour. We're talking about another Coug victory. Friday night, how was that? 4-0 on the year with the 54-52 double overtime victory. Coach, that was a roller coaster ride, I think, for everyone here at Zappos. Was it a roller coaster ride for you?
Well, we needed the extra day to recover. You know, it was. I'm looking at the website and it still says Cougar win, and that's what the biggest takeaway is. I mean, this team found a way. I mean, you can say whatever you want. We're going to dissect this football game as we keep going. Our guys found a way to keep believing, to keep working. 14-point fourth quarter deficit to find a way to just make the plays when needed and really avalanche them and then slip it away and then take it back. And then just finally it said Cougs win at the scoreboard at the end of the day, and it's all smiles from there.
What a victory. And to preview what we have coming up here tonight, Quinn Roth, a big part of that victory, put the finishing touches on the WSU win on Friday. He will be our guest here tonight, our player guest. Can't wait to chat with him. Of course, we'll recap the San Jose State game. We'll get to some of our great questions, as we always do. And we'll preview Saturday coming up, heading down to the blue turf, a matchup with Boise State. Yeah,
it's going to be a fun week. I know our guys are just really excited about it. And I think anytime you just stay in the moment, you keep winning one game at a time, you create some really cool opportunities. And I think Saturday night will be that at Boise, and our guys will be fired up and ready to play.
Well, let's look back on that victory over San Jose State. A lot to unpack from that game. I'm just curious, on the broadcast, Alex gets to chat with you after the game, and we get your thoughts kind of immediately. But after watching the film and letting the dust settle, anything else kind of jump out to you after you reviewed that game a little more?
Well, I think there's a bunch of different things, and it's one of those, I go all the way back to January, Chris. I mean, we came back and we talked about not finishing. And, from a coaching staff point and a team standpoint, I mean, it's the biggest thing, right? You talk about it a lot, your toughness, your physicality, and your finish. And we've been emphasizing it all the way from, our fourth quarter workouts. We talk about +2. Everything we do is +2. So if you're supposed to finish through a cone, you finish 2 yards past the cone, right? If you're supposed to go this distance, you're going to take 2 more reps in that weight room. And it's just embodying it and seeing it to get from like idea, thought, strength and conditioning, practice to really get to that field is huge for us. We finish every practice we do. You've been at practice. We siren the horn, right? There's a big horn that goes off, and our guys knows it's fourth quarter finish. It's the last period of the day, and we're going to compete. Right, so all the way since January, we've been doing that, and to see our guys just keep believing, and I think there's a trust that is required from every member of our team, offense, defense, special teams, to go out there and believe and do it. And how good is John Mateer?
Oh.
How good is John Mateer? Just unbelievable. And then when you have a leader of your football team that's going to put it on his back, that is going to sacrifice his body to go out there and just make those plays, I think everyone else goes out there and sees that, and just there's a will to win that this team has, and I think that's what you saw Friday night.
John Mateer, we've seen him put together 4 different types of games, but outstanding performances, and that kind of goes along with the theme. The team's 4-0, but all 4 games have been different ways of finding a way to win.
Well, I think offensively, when you look back at that performance, I mean, there's so much good. I mean, that's the first thing we do each week, Chris, is we hunt the good. Our guys are doing good things. We are executing. We are in rhythm. I think the offense, obviously, scoring 54 points is a big deal, over 600 yards of offense. But then we go back to work. I mean, we had more penalties than we'd obviously like, a couple dropped balls in some big situations. Obviously, John throwing a couple interceptions, miscommunication there in overtime. But our guys are going to learn from that. They're hungry. Yeah, we're 4-0, but they're hungry to get better, and it starts with number 10, showing up every day, very humble to all the success that he's had. and also wanting to keep getting better, which is just really cool to coach that type of mentality. And
you were touching on this before, but, in that game, I think the Cougs maybe broke the win probability chart. I don't know if you saw that, but at the point when they get that touchdown, 26 seconds left to go, I mean, that is you're threading a very fine needle to find a way to win the game at that point. But that's what the team did. I know like you're saying, it's all that work, all that belief. It comes to fruition in those moments.
I think Andy Reid said it best. He said, when times look grim, be the Grim Reaper. And that's what we needed to do. But the best part is, Chris, we have worked that scenario. The guys do know, and we call it our bulletproofing. I think that's our job as coaches, to put our guys in these competitive situations and make sure, it's like Teflon when you really get it. It's like, hey, guys, this is just like Thursday practice. We have 26 seconds. We have 2 timeouts. We can take big shots over the middle of the field. Let's get the ball to the 35-yard line, and let's let Dean Janikowski go split the uprights, which was a heck of a kick. So it was just one of those things where our guys were like, okay, we know what we want to do. There wasn't any scramble. There wasn't any panic. There was definitely urgency in that moment to go find a way to get it done. John makes a great play to Kyle down the way. He scrambles to the side, and then we go execute the kick, and that's part of the battle of coming back. You still need to win it in overtime, which our guys executed.
And then Dean hits that field goal, goes to overtime, as you said, and then finding a way. And, what was fun about this game is there were some guys who had to step up. I'm thinking of Dylan Payne, 5th year in the program, had a bigger role in the San Jose State matchup. 6 carries, 38 yards, but 2 touchdowns, including that touchdown in the second overtime. I know that he's ready when you need to turn to him, but how great was it to see him be able to shine in that kind of moment?
I think anytime as a head coach, when you get an example like this, you got to, shine a bright light to it. And we did it in the team meeting. I asked Dylan, I said, DP, how many carries did you get coming in this game? He said 3. So I said, Dylan, why were you out there then in the fourth quarter, being obviously very sarcastic? And he just said, Coach, because I stay ready. And when you stay ready, you keep working, your time is going to come. And he was ready. And there was that 2nd and 14 run. I can't tell you, Cougs, when you really watch that, it wasn't the best block play. He made about 7 defenders miss, got us a first down, got us out of a holding penalty, and then scored 2 big touchdowns. So the team rallies around those type of efforts. When you got guys on the team that are selfless and they just want the team to win, I think DP embodies that. He's a walk-on in our program. He's earned it every step of the way. And in that big moment, he was ready to deliver for the team, and boy, did he ever.
Yes, he did, and a neat part of that game, too. Fa'alili Fa'amoe making his return for the season, getting to see him kind of rotated in. What was kind of the takeaways? What did he say afterwards of being able to knock off the rust and to be out there for the first time this year?
Yeah, he said he was rusty. He said, you sit out that long, there's a little bit of nerves, but to get him back in the flow, which is what we need to continue to do as we go, because football players, especially offensive linemen, they're used to play after play, getting in that rhythm. I think he is continuing to trust it. Anytime you go through a major knee deal, especially when you're putting force on it, you got to keep building trust, and you only do that by going out there and blocking big bodies. So that's what he did. I thought he's off to a great start. His role will continue to grow, and then hopefully after the bye week, we get him back in as that starting right tackle.
Just a couple of quick plays that I really thought were outstanding in the game, and there was so much that happened on Friday night, but Kyle Thornton getting that interception. He's done a lot in his career in his 6 years in a Cougar uniform, but an interception at that point in the game, that was huge for the squad.
Well, I'll tell you what, he came off, it wasn't a great third quarter. I mean, by any means, offense, defense, special teams, however you want to look at it. And he's like, Coach, what do you see? I said, I see that we need 2 stops in this fourth quarter. I said, it doesn't matter what happened. The offense is going to get 3 possessions. They're going to score on all 3 possessions. Kyle, go up and down that sideline. We need 2 stops. And that's exactly what he did. And he's a tremendous leader. The really cool part about that play, earlier in the game, we called the same defense. It's kind of a man, what we call double plug. All right, so the linebackers are playing underneath to all their little quick routes. And he was too shallow, and he missed it. He should have had an interception. You get on the iPad, you see it. We talked about it. And then to see him go out the next play or the next time that opportunity comes in the fourth quarter, perfect drop, boom, right to him. I said a great athlete would have kept your feet and scored, but, I'm going to be picky. But it's just a great play to keep our team, build that momentum, and that's when it was just like, boom, touchdown, turnover, touchdown, get the ball back, touchdown, fourth down stop. You want to watch a good effort play, go watch the fourth down stop. David Gusta.
That's my next. I said two. That was my next one. You're reading my mind.
The man is a human wrecking ball. I mean, if you watch the tape, David Gusta was unblockable. And, sometimes in those schemes they can neutralize that, but they couldn't handle him. He was in his gap and fourth down, saw the running back didn't have the ball, threw his guy physically on the ground, came back. He kind of shook KT, Emmett did, and David was right there for the big stop. So just two huge moments in that football game. And once again, the guys delivered when they needed to for each other, and that was a tremendous player-driven team win.
I love that play from David. I watched that a couple times on replay just today, getting ready for the show, wanting to make sure to talk about it. So the team wins, gets this victory where, again, wins come in all different shapes and sizes, but a 4-0 victory or a 4-0 on the year, a victory that is hard-fought. And I think after the game, and we talked last week about Emmett Brown, about how he worked so hard in the program here, leaves, gets an opportunity at San Jose State. And, I just saw right after the game was done, his former WSU teammates were there to embrace him. Did you get to see that and to see kind of that, what felt like a heartwarming scene kind of unfold?
I didn't see it at the time because there was a lot of pandemonium on the field, as there should be. Relief was going through my mind as well as joy in that moment. We won the football game. We found a way. But I did get to see the video. I think it was cool. Our guys are competitors, and we were competing, right? And during those 60 minutes, he was the enemy. That's what it was. But after that, you put some of those things away. You care about the person. Emmett's a good person. He's given a lot to our program. And he's going to continue to do great things.
Yeah, and a nice scene, too. I saw when Ben Arbuckle had his arm around both John Mateer and Emmett as well. And, boy, those guys both left it all out on the field, and what a game that it was. As we kind of put this game on Friday, the victory over San Jose State in the rearview mirror, anything we didn't touch on that you thought was important, that guys you want to give credit to from that victory?
Well, I think it's just the consistency aspect of, what we're continuing to do up front. I mean, those guys are playing really well together. We're keeping John clean, which is obviously a big success point there. Cooper Mathers, I mean, he was a big bright spot in that football game. We haven't used the tight ends probably to our full capacity yet, but to see him get the 2 touchdowns, really cool play with John going to the left and then just flips it over the top late and making that play. But Coop can be that red zone target, and we're going to got to get these tight ends in just some more roles. They've been very much blocking oriented so far, and that's been their role, and they've owned that and been pretty good at it. We need to get Andre back, which we will this week. Javinsky's coming back now this week after a couple ankle injuries, which will be good to be at, more at full capacity. And, defensively, we're learning, we're growing, and we're just fighting for consistency. And it's a hungry group. Same thing after Portland State. They came back this week with an energy, with a focus, knowing that they want to be better, and that's exactly what you want to see. So you never stay the same throughout the course of the year. We're going to need to be better on Saturday to go out there and get that win, but our guys are definitely not satisfied being 4-0. We're a tremendously hungry football team, and that's what I love because I get to coach one of the best, most competitive teams in the country.
Well, we're looking forward to talking about that Boise State matchup and to visit with Quinn Roth coming up. We'll take a break here from Zeppo's. More after this timeout. You're tuned in to the Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
Dear road rivals, let's talk about extra. Toyota offers tons of extra with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan good for 2 years or 25,000 miles. No-cost oil changes, no-cost tire rotations, no-cost fluid level adjustments, and more. That's a whole lot of extra at no cost from Toyota. Nissan and Ford charge extra for maintenance. And that's the kind of extra nobody needs. Try harder. Toyota.
Based on manufacturer's data as of 3/19/2024, covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. See participating dealer for coverage details.
You may be eager to break ground on a new outdoor project, but never just start digging. Buried electric and natural gas lines can be anywhere. It's the law to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig. Spray paint white lines showing your dig zone, and a crew will mark the utility lines. Mark accuracy zone is within 2 feet of the mark, so always hand dig to expose the line first. Call 811 before you dig. The service is free for residential customers. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
Are you interested in your company reaching Coug fans in and out of game day? As the multimedia rights holder for Washington State Athletics, Washington State Sports Properties helps companies and organizations connect themselves to Cougar Athletics in unique and exciting ways. From LED signs to pregame parties to the radio ad you're hearing right now, Washington State Sports Properties is helping companies both large and small get in front of Coug fans on a daily basis. Reach out to Washington State Sports Properties to learn more about what sponsoring the Cougs can look like for you.
You're listening to Cougar Football on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Whenever I see somebody purchasing something with their WSU card, I always like to give them a go Cougs. It brings me back to when I was in Pullman.
From the rolling hills of the Palouse to keys jingling before every kickoff, there's something special about being a Cougar. That's why BECU created the WSU credit and debit cards. It's just one more way to show pride for a place we all call home. Grab your WSU card today. BECU, power in people. Membership required. Restrictions apply. Call 800-233-2328 for details about credit costs and terms. Federally insured by NCUA. Member compensated for participation.
Hello, I'm Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, and also an alumni from WSU, the best college in the state. Go Cougs! And for over 65 years, I believe our competitive edge has been selling the very best roofing, siding, and windows made at a great price with the best team of professionals installing it. And during our anniversary sale, we're offering 10% off your next project up to $3,000. So give us a call today at McVeigh Brothers. We're always working for you.
This is the Cougar Football Hour.
The Cougs get the stop! The Cougs get the stop! Cougs take over!
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Welcome back into Zeppos here on the Cougar Football Hour. Washington State 4-0 on the season, joined by Jake Dickert. The team getting ready for a matchup Saturday against Boise State. We'll get into that with our opponent preview, but I got to know, it was a Friday night game, so it was late. I'm sure it was late by the time you got home and your head hit the pillow, but that meant there was all day Saturday where you'd normally be busy. What was Saturday like for you and the rest of the coaching staff and the players?
I was telling somebody else I was eating insomnia cookies in my bed at like 2 a.m., just kind of celebrating. It was a good deal. That's a fact. They were delicious.
The big ones?
Yeah, it was the big one.
Okay.
It was the cookie cake, and you just, I needed a little ice cream at that moment, but I was like, we're just going to stay with this. But, Saturday is one of those deals where you got to jump ahead and kind of reset and move on. So you watch the film. I actually got a chance to go see the biggest game of the weekend, the Junior Greyhounds. They played down in Clarkston. They got a 28-0 win. That was a big ball game.
There we go.
So that was really cool to get an opportunity to go. The schedule worked out perfect for that. And then, kind of put our game to bed and then immediately start working on Boise. So we don't normally do it, but we practice Monday morning just to kind of get some of these schemes. It's very unique what they do, and just get our guys' minds start moving to the next opponent.
When you have a Friday game and your opponent plays on Saturday, are you watching that game live? It's not as important to watch that game live. It's going to be on tape. You can watch it later.
No, I'll definitely watch it live. I think there is something, even each week, Chris, Miss Oli is our video coordinator, and she is just incredible. So we have all the 22 tape and kind of the wides and the tights, but we also have the TV copies from every team, and there's a lot of information to get from that. Not just like, hey, the tempo and the mindset, but you can get some signals. You can get a whole bunch of different things. So we watch a little bit of that and just kind of see the flow of the game. It was real evident that it was over by halftime, and they weren't going to risk any injury in the second half. I think they pulled number 2 early. So it was just one of those games where you just kind of get in the flow. You start getting some ideas for the next opponent, and you start to move on.
And they had an early bye, but that is a common opponent. Saturday they were playing Portland State, a squad that the Cougs open against.
Yeah, in actually something that helps us is they run a similar defensive 4-down structure. So I think they're very vanilla, but you can see this is how they're going to work some of their blocking schemes and those type of things. So yeah, I know that we got an extra day this week, but they had a bye, and I'm pretty sure they were working the Cougs a couple weeks ago during their bye week.
Oh, that's fair. Well, we'll take another break here from Zeppos. When we come back, we'll dive into more on Boise State. We're here with Jake Dickert. It's the Cougar Football Hour. More after this. You're listening to Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. You know, for your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
This is former Coug, Eric Coleman.
Picked off, intercepted, touchdown coming into the end zone, Eric Coleman.
And you're listening to Cougar Football. Go Cougs.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We all know there are morning people and not so morning people. But now that McDonald's has bagels, the morning people demographic might just have to make room for some new members of the club. Talk about a game changer.
There's no better way to wake up. Try McDonald's hearty steak, egg, and cheese bagel with a juicy steak patty and grilled onions, fluffy eggs, and melty cheese. Or try one with smoky bacon or savory sausage at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome back to the show. Time now to look ahead at this week's game with the Coors Light Opponent Preview. Coors Light, choose chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly.
Back at Zeppo's here on the Cougar Football Hour, along with Jake Dickert, talking about the 4-0 Cougs, who will head down to the blue turf in Boise to take on Boise State. Big matchup here. The Broncos have had a successful start to the season. The only loss, a tight one to Oregon. But when you talk about Boise State this year, Ashton Jeanty is the name that comes up first. Leads the FBS in rushing yards per game, 195 per game. What makes him so special?
Well, those are wild stats. 10 yards per carry. I mean, I don't care who you are, who you're playing, and they played some good competition. I mean, he's one of those compact, Jonah Coleman-esque compact running backs that is not too tall. You don't have a huge strike zone, but he's really powerful in his upper body. He's one of the best stiff arms that I've seen. And then, obviously through the stats, I think 3 runs over 70 yards. He can hit the big run. And I think that's what he has in every game. He has big explosive play potential. He's really good in the pass game. They throw him some fade. They throw him some screens. He's very versatile, and their scheme is just really user-friendly per se. He's a good tailback. They're doing a bunch of trade shift motion and trying to get you out of a gap, and when you do that, they're physical off the line of scrimmage, and he's hitting the big one. So I do believe just as a core, any great running back out there has a great offensive line. These guys are physical. They get off the ball. I think Cougs, I would really relate it to like an Oregon State. They got their hand in the dirt. There's not a tackle that's raised up, and they are coming off the ball firing. So we got to be physical. We got to play through our technique. We got to trust that everyone's going to do their job in their gaps, and then we got to swarm tackle this guy because, we'll make some solo tackles, but most of the time he's going to make somebody miss. That's part of it. So there's an effort level that's required to go out there and contain a running back like this.
You alluded to it on the prior segment, but he didn't play really in the second half. So what he has done has been through 2.5 games, and you look at some of the national rankings, the fact that he's as high as he is through 2.5 games is pretty nuts. And I'm thinking about, for the Cougs so far, it's been some really good running backs. Jonah Coleman for UW. Taj Brooks didn't play, but prepping to play him. How helpful is it knowing that, hey, a lot of times this year you've had to gear up realizing there's a really talented running back on the other team?
And we talked in our captains meetings, and KT was right. He's like, he is talented, and you never want to blow up a player. I mean, he's great, but he's like, we faced great tailbacks the last 2 years, like almost every week, Coach. It just feels like this is what we do. This is what we got to focus on, and we got to win by doing simple better, and that's being great at tackling, being great at communication, being in our gaps, finishing. Those are the ways that you take down a really good player. It isn't just, hey, every man for themselves. Let's go just try to, knock this guy out. Those things just don't happen. So by doing your job, every play on defense and playing ultra aggressive, that's how you work to contain a player like this.
And they had 6 different guys score in last week's victory over Portland State. So this is a team that doesn't have to just rely on one weapon in Genty. They have a number of guys who are dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Oregon, took a kickoff return to the house and a punt return to the house and needed every ounce of it to beat this football team. So this is a complete team. I think they do a bunch of different things formationally, like we said, and then they'll take it over the top. They got big, long, wide receivers on the outside. So naturally, when you're good at running the football, bring safeties down, and then you go over the top, and they've hit on a bunch of their big shots. So it's a game plan. It's a chess match. It's picking and choosing when to be aggressive, when to put your corners on an island, when to blitz them. You just got to keep mixing and matching and stay ahead of the chains. First down success rate on both sides of the ball will be a huge indicator if we can have success in this game. If you can take a pro-style running offense and make them in predictable throwing situations, you have a shot. Also on our offense, we got to stay ahead of their ultra-aggressive defense by being in 2nd and 4, not 2nd and 10. So if we're able to have success on first down, I think it's going to be big for the success of our football team this week.
Big shots, you talk about that. They've been really good at that. 7 plays of at least 50 yards this season. That's the most among all FBS teams. So between Genty and, as you said, going over the top with those wide receivers, they've been able to hit on those.
Now, they're really quality offense, and I think this is Boise. I go back, Chris, to when I was 2017 with Wyoming. We played them in 17, 18, 19. It's like carbon copy. This is Boise State. This is kind of a la Chris Peterson and Brian Harsin. Like, they just do what they've done for kind of generations there of that type of football. Seems like they always find one of these backs to lead the crew, and that's going to be the type of football that you're going to be up against. So our guys are up for the challenge. We know what we have to meet to be successful, and that's what you're going to see on Saturday night.
Ultra aggressive is how you describe their defense. Can you dive more into that, of what they do defensively that has allowed them to be ultra aggressive and successful at it?
Well, I think when you study them over time, and just like kind of my progression from defensive coordinator to head coach, you keep a similar structure. But every play caller has their own unique blend that they do it, and we all have our own personalities, right? So the new play caller at Boise, I mean, he's more aggressive. They probably blitzed 90% in the second half against Oregon, and they were going to force them to throw the ball. We obviously now have gravitated offensively a little different than Oregon. We want to get the ball in space. We got to obviously use our running game, use John in different ways. But we got to make sure that we're staying ahead of the chains, like I said. So they're physical up front. They have an All-American in number 91, and 5, the other edge rusher, is really good. So it's going to be a great challenge, and our offensive line is ready for this. This is what we've been working on. This is what we got to go out there and attack every play.
From your time at Wyoming, as you mentioned, you're no stranger to playing Boise State.
Yeah.
What is this environment going to be like for the team on Saturday?
It is a good environment, and I told the old guys, I equate it to like an Oregon. I do. I mean, it's sold out. I think they got 39,000 or whatever. I'm hoping that's going to be a bunch of Cougs that are making the trip to Boise State. But online the ticket's going for like $1,000 right now. We're the premier game of Saturday night now. The Cougs.
I love it.
It's once again, when you play your way into these type of games, it's going to be fun. The blue turf has its aura and all that type of stuff. I said, guys, it's just blue turf. Let's not take it too far here. But it's going to be one on that field, right? Regardless of the elements. And I told our guys in the captain's meeting, this is fun. Like, playing in this type of atmosphere on the road, you got your boys with you. Like, we showed a scene from the movie 300 in this morning's attack meeting. Like we're going in there, shields interlocked, like everybody together. Like, let's go out there and fight this fight. And when you do that, there should be so much joy. Like, there'll be a little nerves. Like, that's common in a perceived big game. But go enjoy playing in this type of environment with your guys competing to be your best. I mean, you can't ask for anything more.
I've got to ask, who picks out the scene from 300? Is that you? Is that a task that you hand off to someone?
With an assist from Coach Kramer. I mean, we do a bunch of different things, but on Thursday morning we call it our attack session. And on some of the rewinds from our, Carson, he's showing kind of me talking to the team, and we film that and kind of show it to people. But it's just kind of creating a little message, a little visual. We do a bunch of different ones that we've gone. We've done movie scenes. I talked last week, we did Usain Bolt about running your own race and all that type of stuff. But heck yeah, when you see them trying to go after the Persians, I mean, it just gets you fired up. Like, let's play some football.
There's no doubt about that. Well, on that note, we'll let you go attack some dinner here at Zappos.
Yeah, as I normally do, yes.
We'll let you loose for a little bit. We'll have Quinn Roth coming up next, and we'll bring you back on a little bit later.
That sounds good.
Again, that is Jake Dickert, the head coach of the Cougs, joining us here on the Cougar Football Hour. A reminder, Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards Program. Stay tuned for more information on how to become a Rewards Program member. And with that, we will take a timeout. More after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
Spokane International Airport is a proud sponsor of Washington State University Athletics. The airport connects Cougar fans and alums with over 60 daily departures to more than 20 nonstop destinations provided by 7 major airlines, as well as one-stop connections to most major metropolitan centers throughout the U.S. Real-time arrival and flight departure information is available at SpokaneAirports.net. Spokane International Airport, when it's time to fly.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Bro, you go hard for the WSU Cougs.
What do you mean?
You're literally wearing a Coug jersey that you bought from the Coug store with your Coug debit card. And you don't stop talking about how every time you use your card, Gisa donates to the Cougar Athletic Fund.
I guess I do go pretty hard for my Cougs.
If you go hard for your Cougs, get your WSU card today at Gisa.com. Go Cougs.
This is Drew Bledsoe, and you're listening to Cougar Football.
Bledsoe calls his play, has the ball, throws a home run ball from the end zone to Bobo. Touchdown! Washington State!
On the Washington State Sports Network.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
Hey, Cougar fans, the 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Washington State football games or to any other live event in your area, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Washington State Cougars. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
This is the Cougar Football Hour.
He'll run himself, still up on his feet, looking for a blocker. He's still going. Touchdown, John Mateer. 3rd and 20 from the 25. Doesn't matter. Mateer makes some magic again.
To Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back here at Zeppo's on the Cougar Football Hour, talking about the 4-0 Cougs. Game coming up Saturday night against Boise State. Road matchup, kickoff 7 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Mountain for those who are going to be there cheering on the Cougs in the capital city of Idaho. Our coverage here will begin 2 hours prior at 5 o'clock. And a reminder, earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. And we're excited to welcome in Quinn Roff here, senior edge rusher for the Cougs. Quinn, well, you had the moment that was the cherry on top of that victory Saturday. First off, it's great to see you. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Can't complain. Cougs are 4-0.
Cougs are 4-0. That is right. And, okay, so it's a wild game on Friday. The team gets the double overtime victory over San Jose State. San Jose State's going for a 2-point conversion to potentially send it to triple overtime, but you were able to put a stop to that. Can you walk us through the sequence as you were able to strip the ball and end the game and begin the Coug celebration?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, first of all, shout out to the coaches. I mean, we've run through scenarios like this, similar scenarios all the time. You know, coming into 2-point shootouts and stuff like that coming through fall camp. But just lining up and trusting my technique, trusting the coaching and everything, and just not trying to go outside of what we do or outside the defense, but making the play with inside the defense. So, yeah, that was pretty much.
Well, you did just that, and it was interesting, too, and I just learned this today. So Emmett Brown, the San Jose State quarterback, former Coug, but you and him go back a ways. You stripped him of the ball on that final play to seal the Cougar victory, but you guys were roommates here at WSU, and you were high school teammates. Can you tell us about your shared history?
Yeah, this time last year, me and Emmett were sharing the same house. Great dude. And then even back into high school, I was a senior when he was a freshman. I think it was just funny going from high school to seeing him here to then becoming roommates, and then a year later playing him in a really tight game.
Well, yeah, and on that stage, kind of it coming down to the two of you, exactly. that is pretty wild. A lot of connections there, and you've had some great moments in your Cougar career. I would think that is up either at the top or very close to the top. Can you kind of walk us through some of your favorite moments and where that one maybe ranks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the other two moments that stand out to me, just Wisconsin 2 years ago at the end of the game, stripping that ball, and then the year before that at Stanford, or here, but playing Stanford, and at the end of the game, getting the strip sack to secure the win. So those three kind of just stand out to me.
You have a knack for big plays. You're also forced to fumble against number 14 Utah too, right?
Oh yeah, at the end of that game too.
Yeah. Well, now we keep adding them up. Like, yeah, there's a lot to remember.
The ball just seems to find me at the end of the game, I guess.
Well, you do a good job of making your way to the ball, and Coug fans are very appreciative of that, especially on Friday. And for you, it's been great to see you out on the field this year. I know last year you had to miss some time, missed 6 games when you were injured.
Right.
How has it been? I know throughout your career you've had to overcome some injury adversity. What has that been like?
I mean, it's been tough. You know, it's never a good thing when you go down with an injury, but I mean, it's just controlling what you can control. You know, you go down, but how quick can you get back? What are the things that you can control in that moment, in those moments, to be able to return to the field? So, I mean, I think I've learned a lot through these injuries, and I'm happy to be able to be back and be healthy this season. But, you know, it's a day-to-day battle. You know, I can't let up on the rehab or prehab. Got to continue with it each and every day.
And I imagine when you've had to deal with injuries over the course of your career, you really get to know the training staff well, right?
Oh, yeah. A little too much, I think. A little too well.
Yeah, 5 years in, you know everyone so well. And, Josh Meredith was our guest last week. He's from San Diego. You're from the San Diego area. There's that game coming up in October against San Diego State. Josh Meredith saying, hey, I've got so many people who are coming to that game. I've got to ask you the same question. Is there going to be a big cheering section for you, that matchup?
Oh, yeah. Most of my family lives down there in San Diego. I got a ton of friends. I think I have something around 40-ish people. down there in San Diego cheering me on. So it's gonna be a great atmosphere. It's gonna be really fun.
Well, I love it, and hopefully there are a lot of Cougs coming up Saturday to cheer you and Washington State on against Boise State. Again, we're joined by Quinn Roth. We'll take a timeout here. More to come on the Cougar Football Hour. We'll be rejoined by Jake Dickert a little later on as we'll get to our listener questions and talk a little more about that matchup with Boise State. We'll return after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
Go Cougs!
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. You know, for your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
This is former Coug Eric Coleman.
Picked off, intercepted, touchdown coming into the end zone, Eric Coleman.
And you're listening to Cougar Football. Go Cougs.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
Get your home turf ready to play with the game-changing performance of Steel. Enjoy big savings this fall on Steel handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours.
This is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Well, the Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota. It is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars, and it is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. Back here at Zeppo's on the Cougar Football Hour, joined again by Quinn Roth, senior edge rusher for the Cougs. And we were talking a little bit during the break. So you're in your 5th year in the program. You're a senior. About what has kept you busy off the field and in the classroom. Can you tell everyone what you've been studying, what you're thinking about doing someday when it comes to life after football?
Right, so I recently, this past spring, graduated with my degree in kinesiology, and I want to get into strength and conditioning. Stay around football, you know. I love human performance, athletics, so just staying around that aspect.
Well, that seems to get a nice round of applause from the crowd here. So already got the kinesiology degree. That is done. That is in the books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so what's the next step with that? Is it kind of focus on football, do a little bit of classwork? Is it work on a master's?
I want to intern and eventually, hopefully, GA in the weight room, and then work on my master's then.
Okay, that's great, and be able to, as you were kind of talking before, kind of human performance about how to maximize everyone's potential, how to get everyone bigger, stronger, faster to the best of their abilities.
Exactly. So I'm super excited about that.
Well, that is great, and I know for you kind of have a unique background. You're from the San Diego area. We were talking during the break. You spent 3 years in Wisconsin as a kid, which I know Coach Dickert likes the sound of that. But your dad was a Navy diver.
Oh yeah.
Can you describe for us what his job was like as a Navy diver?
So I'd say it's like underwater welding, underwater demolition, and then I think the biggest part of his job was submarine rescue. So like submarines getting stopped at the bottom of the ocean, him and his team go down and help those guys out. So.
Now, would he come? I mean, that's not a traditional job. I mean, he's not working banker's hours. He's not wearing a suit. Would he come home and tell you some stories? Or there's some stories, the older you got and you get the really good stories?
Man, I haven't heard any really good stories yet. I mean, but some of them, I know there was a ship that was stuck. I think it was in like the Middle East somewhere or something. They had to go in and saw it up and lug it out of there. But yeah.
So have you dabbled in diving, or is that, hey, that's Dad's thing? That's you're an above water guy.
I'll go snorkeling in Hawaii, but diving, I don't know. That's not me.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, this matchup on Saturday against Boise State, what runs through your mind? You and your teammates have been working hard. You've been prepping for this game, and we are about 48 hours away from kickoff. 4-0 on the year. Another great challenge this week. What do you think about when it comes to taking on a talented Boise State team?
You know, I know the big message this week was just effort and toughness. I know we're gonna go out there and play a tough game versus a tough opponent. They really hang their hat on their blue collarness and stuff, but you know, this is Washington State. That's us too, and I think it just comes down to us focusing on what we can do and playing with a ton of effort and a ton of toughness.
Well, Quayne, congratulations on that huge moment Friday. Excited for more of those type of plays to add to your already long highlight reel. Appreciate you being here, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Again, that is Quinn Roth, senior edge rusher for the Cougs, stopping by here at Zeppo's on the Cougar Football Hour. We will take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by Jake Dickert. We'll get to some of our listener and audience questions. That's all after this. This is the Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Coug fans, you love rooting for the Crimson and Gray, and now McDonald's has even more for you to cheer about. Because this season, you can score big with the 20-piece McNuggets bundle when you order on the McD app. Get 20 golden, juicy McNuggets, plus 2 orders of the medium fries you know and love, all for just $11.99. McDonald's and Cougars football, now that's what I call a W. Must opt into rewards at participating McDonald's, valid through 2024-25 football season. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Back after this local timeout on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Want to earn some extra money this winter? Spokane International Airport is hiring multiple seasonal snow removal equipment operators. These are on-call positions for the upcoming winter season from November 2024 to March 2025. You can earn up to $36 an hour. Some positions require a CDL, and previous experience in operating snow removal equipment is highly preferred. Join our team today. Learn more and apply by visiting SpokaneAirports.net.
This is the Cougar Football Hour.
Cougs get the stop! The Cougs get the stop! Cougs take over!
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Football Hour once again, next with Jake Dickert, the coach of the Cougs, 4-0 on the season, getting ready for Saturday night's game against Boise State. We look forward to this every Thursday night. It is our listener and audience questions. Coach, are you buckled up? You ready for this?
I'm always ready to go. We get some great ones here.
Here we go. Let's start with some of the ones from our crowd here at Zeppo's. From Peter wants to know if you've played the new NCAA video game.
There's Peter out over there in the back. Yes, I love it. Absolutely, I have. You know, Quinn was just asking me. He said someone sent him a picture of a dynasty where Quinn Roth has won the Heisman. I was like, yeah, that's you took a selfie. You did that yourself. That's what I told Quinn. But no, Quinn's been great, and Quinn did a great job. And talk about a kid, Chris, with resiliency. He's had every injury known to mankind through his 6 years here, but just a guy that stays on the grind and keeps going. And really proud of what he's been doing. It's been fun to watch.
We had a really great time chatting with him here, and it is fun having the players here. Just kind of get their perspective on things and get to hear their stories. That is one of the highlights every week of getting to talk with those guys. Another one of our audience questions in his homily Sunday night, Father Paul mentioned humility as a driver for success. How do you balance confidence and humility as a coach?
That's awesome. And Father Paul is actually our team chaplain, so another shout out to Father Paul. But humility is huge. And you know, I just think, first of all, with a football team and, you know, when you win games and however you do it, you just got to stay humble and you got to stay hungry. You got to understand what got you there, the type of habits that you've created within your life that, you know, stay the course, because, you know, when you win, there's a lot of people that'll come out of the shadows that want to get some of that spotlight. And you got to remember, these are 18 to 23-year-old kids. It comes with a lot of pressures and, you know, your big news of NILs and monies and all this different type of stuff affecting kids' decisions. But the bottom line is they're still 18 to 23. So the more you can stay the course, the more we can provide as the coaches, as the adults, consistency for these guys. I think it's huge. But it takes a mental fortitude to just keep staying the course. And that's what I love about this football team is, you know, they expected to be here and they're hungry for more. I think as soon as you get, we achieve something and it's week 4, that's when your results start to take a dive. So our guys are hungry, and I think it's the humility that kind of leads to more success.
And our next question, we always compliment the grocery list, a special Cougar grocery list.
We're starting to up our list here. I mean, we need to get some of these.
It is on, yes. Yeah. The question is about Coach Schmedding, who I know there's a number of Boise State ties of guys with the program who've spent time at Boise State. He's one of them. What can you tell us about the Cougs defensive coordinator, Jeff Schmedding?
I mean, Jeff has deep ties to, obviously, Eastern Washington, and has, coached there, I think, for 17 years before Coach Hartson hired him. I think his first as special teams coordinator and defensive coordinator at Boise. So, obviously the familiarity is good. Cal Kreiner, who is our assistant defensive backs coach, I mean, we hired him, from Boise where he was a GA last year, just so we can get some insider trading. No, I'm just kidding. But, both of them, they just obviously great person, great coordinator. He's a guy that works his tail off, and we've been big in big spots, and we've come up a bunch of big takeaways. No matter how that game's going, we just keep plugging away, and, Jeff is one of those guys. So just excited about, what he brings to the table. Obviously very familiar with going into this environment, obviously playing there, and he's kind of shared some of those stories with the team as we've gone throughout the week.
Well, a number of great Cougs here in person, passing along some questions. Now turning along to the ones we got on social media. Jennifer Delzer. Who,
Jennifer's back. There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
She says, it seems like there have been different offensive stars with each game. Is that in response to what the defenses show you or by design prior to the game?
Well, I think it's a little bit of, taking what the defenses are giving us. And I think everyone being ready for those moments. I mean, in Portland State, it just felt like, everything was going. And then, Texas Tech dropping, hey, we need to run the ball. I think John, kind of showcased his strength with his legs and what he can do with his run ability. Kyle Williams got back going this game. Chris Hudson's been open. We just missed him a couple times. A bunch of different running backs in different roles. So Cooper, Mathers with the tight ends. So I just think we have a very diverse offense that can attack you in different ways. So if you're going to double Kyle, let's run the ball. If you're going to drop 8, let's be physical at the point of attack. If you're going to blitz, let's take the ball up top. So I think that leads to a well-balanced offense, and I know our offense through 4 games has been one of the best in the country.
It has been fun to see just the number of guys, the number of weapons that the team has, and have made an impact throughout the course of the first 4 games of the season. Well, we'll take a break. We have some more questions to get to, but just to make sure we can squeeze as many in, we'll take our final timeout, come back more with Coach Dickert after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour live from Zeppos from Learfield.
With the WSU debit card from Giesa, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. When Coug fans use their WSU card, they show off their Coug pride, and donations are made back to Cougar Athletics. But the card supports the Coug fan with big savings by helping them grow their money with Smart Plus checking. So, does the card support the Coug fan, or does the Coug fan support the card? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the WSU card supports Cougar Athletics and your wallet at the same time. Get your WSU card at Giesa.com. Checking account transaction requirements, terms and conditions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. You know, for your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
This is the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. SiriusXM is your destination for all things college sports, and we've got you covered. On SiriusXM College Sports Radio, there's complete coverage of every major conference, including live games, plus 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the SiriusXM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of SiriusXM free. Subscribe now. See offer details at SiriusXM.com/College Sports Radio 24.
Back here at Zeppos on the Cougar Football Hour with Jake Dickert. Coming up Saturday night, the 4-0 Cougs clashing on the road with Boise State. We're going to try to squeeze in as many of these listener questions as we can. Some really good ones here. Jim Akers talked about, can you identify a moment in time and the event that convinced you this team had embodied your vision for the cultural foundation you were striving for?
That was a very in-depth question. I like that.
Well thought out, yeah.
I think it showed up with 26 seconds left last Friday night. I mean, belief is culture, and that's what we talk about the most, Chris, is that you got to believe that you can go out there and accomplish something great. And I think that's what you saw on Friday night. That was a huge culture win, a big moment for our program to know no matter what situation we get ourselves into, you got to play all 60 minutes to win a football game, even a couple overtimes if needed.
Hey, whatever it takes, and the Cougs did just that. Mark B. from Riverside, what similarities do you see between the current John Mateer and the 2016 version of Josh Allen?
Wow. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, Josh, when I first went there, was his last year, and his talent, big, strong guy that could do some things. He's a little bit stronger in the pocket. I would say John's a little faster. Josh might, debate on that one. But the thing they have in common, the common thread, ultimate competitors. I don't care what they're going to play you at. If they're going to play you at darts in the back room at Zeppo's, they want to beat you, Chris. And they're going to take no mercy. And then they're probably going to tell you about beating you after they beat you, right? So they just love that. And they get the locker room to rally around them. That's exactly what they do. Josh knew he was going to be a first-round pick and make $60 million. He was just one of the guys. And John Mateer is one of the guys. And I think that's what our guys respect about him, and it's great to have that level of competitor leading your football team.
And I think fans, they've been able to see that in his interviews, and we're going to be excited to talk to him here on the Cougar Football Hour at some point, that is evident. And we have the music, so let's get to your final thoughts. The fight song's playing. Last thoughts for Cougs. What do they need to know about this game Saturday?
Well, I know it's a 4-0 start. We're exactly where we want to be, but this is the one. It's all about being 1-0. I know we're going to see a lot of Cougs down there in Boise, and I just can't wait. Our team's going to be ready. We're fired up, and let's keep this thing going. Let's go, Cougs.
Love it. Kickoff 7 o'clock Pacific time. Our coverage starts at 5 o'clock. For the questions we couldn't get to, thanks for sending them in. We'll try to get to them next time. For our whole crew here, for Jerry Kylo and Jared Pringruber, for Luke Hallett back in the studio, I'm Chris King signing off from Zeppo's. We'll talk to you Saturday from above the blue turf at Albertson Stadium. You've been tuned in to the Cougar Football Hour from Learfield.
You've been listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show has been brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zeppo's, the home for the Cougar Coaches Show, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network.